SuCh, I love that name. Your bio. I read tons and tons of bios. Yours is one of the, I think, first that I've seen written in the first person. That struck me being a writer. Why?
Why did I write in the first person?
Yep.
I wrote it in the first person because I wanted people, like when they came to my website or read about me, for them to hear about me from myself, instead of just somebody else's observation of me. So I really wanted them to get to know me and just figure out that I'm weird and quirky and a normal person, you know? So I figured the best way for me to get that across would be for me to actually write it myself.
And indeed, it felt like a conversation with you. And my next question is about being genuine and transparent. That gave a very open introduction to you. So is that kind of what where the music goes, or?
Yeah, I would say the first song on my album is called Open Book, which is pretty much what I am. I don't have a good poker face. I'm very much like what you see is what you get. And so I think that's who I am, and that's what I want people to get a feel for, you know? And so, you know, my music is transparent. Not that necessarily everything is a personal story, but that it comes from a real, genuine place.
Right. Now, with that being said, pretty much what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
But let's talk about how that factors in marketing and advertising and all of this stuff, the SuCh brand. You know, how does that fit with all of that stuff? Is it easy? How does it make you feel?
Yeah, I would say that it's pretty easy. I'm very bubbly. One of the things that I love the most about my job, this is fun, but
I know,
my
right?
job, my job is the fact that I get to interact with people, that I get to make a difference, that I get to see like how my music affects people, and so I do my best for it to come across in my marketing, whether it be through social media or what it be. It's really a big deal for me to respond to people who comment on my pictures, to let them know like, oh my gosh, I really appreciate you, because without people that love your music, you're really nothing. So yeah, that's a huge part of my brand, I would say.
Oh, cool. Oh, welcome to Chicago.
Thank
cold.
you. I know I am cold. I'm cold, but it's okay.
Yeah, we appreciate people that come here during the winter months because we know it's cold.
Right, but it's all right. I like the winter. So.
I do too. So let's talk about your experience here in Chicago. What is that like? What do you like about here, or have you had a chance? What?
Yeah, well, did you know that I used to live here?
No.
Oh yeah, I lived here a year after college. I lived in Hyde Park.
Oh, okay.
52nd and Woodlawn, and I loved it. I love that street. Let me tell you, I love that street. Right down the street.
Everybody loves that street
It's a
in
great
Hyde Park.
You're like, yeah, but I lived in one of the little tiny apartments. I didn't live like in any of the, like where Farrakhan lives. That's a cool house, by the way. I loved, from what I remember of when I lived here, I loved everything about Chicago. I loved the people, I loved the food, I loved the culture. At that time, I was doing more medical stuff, so at the time I wanted to be a physical therapist, so I was working as a physical therapist aide. But I think just Chicago always will have a warm place in my heart. And as I was driving, coming here, I was like, oh, I do miss this. I do miss it.
I love talking to people who live here or lived here that like it, because I love it here.
Yeah.
And you kind of tapped into one of my questions. You have a medical background.
Yes.
Okay, so you have medicine and you have music. Sharp contrast. But
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's some skills that crossed over. Can you
sure.
tell me about that?
Yeah, so I would say that music is probably the one thing that I've consistently done my whole life. I've been singing since I was about 3. My dad's a pastor, grew up singing in church. I decided I wanted to be a physical therapist. When I moved to Colorado, the place that I was working at, I worked as a physical therapy aide, and the physical therapists, they were like, this is such a, there's just way too many people in this field. There are physical therapists everywhere in Colorado. Why don't you become a nurse? So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's less schooling. Why not do nursing? So I went ahead and did the accelerated program, which was like in a year, and got my bachelor's in nursing. All of the jobs that I did as a nurse were not normal nursing jobs. I lasted in the hospital for like 3 months, and I was like, I'm out of here. All the jobs that I did that I loved were like home health, because you got to build relationships with your clients. I did case management, which I loved. Also, you build relationships with your clients. I did school nursing, all those like not normal nursing jobs where you spend time with people. Those were the kinds of jobs that I loved. And I realized that it's really because I'm a people person. Like, I love sitting down, talking to someone, looking you in the eye. Like, that's one of those things that's really important to me. And I like taking care of people. So I think that translates into my music because I feel like it's my way for me to take care of people, my way for me to give back and to be a part of society. So, yeah.
Cool. Cool. I love all the different nursing things you did. Segue, my sidebar. My daughter was in love with the school nurse. She would go to the nurse's office and I'm like, would you stop having the nurse call me? So I could so see you doing that. So my daughter would have been harassing you as well.
Yeah.
So your latest project. Let's talk about how exciting that is. And first of all, what makes it different?
Then my first one?
Yep. Biggest difference.
Yeah, I would say the biggest difference is me coming more into my own. I think my first project, it came at a time where I was transitioning from being, a nurse to deciding to do music full time. There had been certain things in my life where I'm Haitian American, so when the earthquake hit Haiti, that was a big deal for me. I have family who still is in Haiti, and so I went down there as a nurse and everything. So there was just a lot of like reprioritizing and shifting that I was going through, and also I was in a very pensive mood, like just thinking about life. What should I be doing? What is my calling? And I think that really came across in the first album. It spoke to where I was at that point. So, and I had to get it off. It was like something that I had to get off my chest. This one, I think, is more triumphant in a way. Not like it's the end of the story, but that I'm really embracing the journey that being an independent, artist is. So trial and error, that I feel like that's just been my life for the past few years. Trying new things, constantly being pushed out of my comfort zone, and enjoying that. Not being afraid of being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But rather embracing it and knowing that you're growing. As you try and you fail, you get up, you dust yourself off, you try again, So I'm really proud of this work. I'm really proud
You're
of it.
You're glowing.
I'm really proud of it.
Good.
I'm proud of it because one of my goals with this album was that I wanted every song to be like the best song it could be. Sometimes you run across albums where there are 2 strong songs and the rest are like, okay, they're fillers. And I can honestly say, from my perspective, that there are no fillers on this album.
I can say that too.
There are no fillers. I feel like every song is the best version that it could be, which I guess in some ways that was a little scary for me because I think Sugar Maple is a song that most people know me by, so they assume that I'm completely neo-soul, and that's what every song on the album is going to sound like, and that's not the case, When I write songs, I want them to be the best version of themselves, so I try not to be like, well, I have to write another neo-soul song, so what comes to me, it has to be a neo-soul song. If the song comes and it's like a rock song, guess what it's going to be? It's going to be a rock song. If it comes and it's, more jazzy, then it's going to be that because that's where the song needs to be. And so that was one of my biggest goals with this album, and I can honestly say that I think I've definitely achieved that. So I'm really proud of it. I think that, somebody who listens to the album from top to bottom will have a better understanding of who I am as an artist. I feel like it's very me, which is fun, which is great.
That is fun.
Yeah.
That is fun. And you touched on something with independent artists because actually, as a journalist, I try to steer clear of entertainment because I don't like the spotlight, the glitz, the glam, the drama. I don't like any of that. And I just kind of got pulled into interviewing independent artists. What I found is, first of all, you guys are some of the smartest people. Sometimes people don't think artists, or maybe they think that you're independent because you weren't good enough to get picked up by a label.
Right.
And what I found is the music is so rich until I barely listen to the radio anymore. I listen to projects that I get, like the one you just gave me, or people send me stuff to review, and I barely turn on the radio. So that experience with doing this your way, how does that feel? What are the challenges personally? We know the overall challenges, but for you, what's your personal challenges and triumphs?
I would say I love the fact that I'm autonomous, that I'm able to do things, my way, and that there's not somebody who's like, well, this is what your brand needs to be. You need to be the next blah, blah, blah. I don't care about, what you have to say. Really, what we need is for you to be this. I appreciate the fact that that I don't have that. But with that comes a challenge of getting people to get into your brand.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the next whoever it may be, you know. And people are like, well, then why would I listen to SuCh? Like, who's SuCh? Like, psh, you know, that sort of thing. I would say there's a challenge with that. Also, of course, there are financial challenges. There are emotional challenges, spiritual challenges of pushing through when you're not. I don't know how. I mean, I think it's with anything. Once you go after something that you're passionate about, you're in a way more vulnerable.
Oh yeah.
Because you're
Definitely.
like, but this is what I love and this is my dream, and so.
But it doesn't make sense.
Right.
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 Why are you doing this?
Yeah. Not really. You know, people are like, but you're a nurse. Like, this, there would be no financial issues if you just went and started working as a nurse. You know. So I think there's been that, but with that, there's also been the triumph of, you know, when I go to my shows and I'm singing and I can feel that connection between me and the audience, or somebody comes up to me afterwards and they're like, this song like really touched me today, like I needed to hear that today. It's those sort of things that make it worth it. And like, I know it's my calling. Like, I know everybody says it's the main dream, it's my calling, but I really, really know that, and I've known it for a while. And you know, I think I was too afraid to step out and do it. And so there's just, it's very rewarding in a different way than nursing was, because this sort of like feeds my soul.
Understood.
Yeah. And I don't know, I'm excited. I'm just excited, yeah.
Your project is so uplifting, and it made me excited to meet you. And it is the same when I saw you, I embraced you. It's just the same feeling. What has your reception been like when you talk to your fans or when you meet people on stage? What is the interaction like? How are you received, and how does that make you feel?
I would say overall, everything has been pretty positive. Usually when people meet me in person, they're like, wow, you're a lot smaller in person.
I thought that too.
You know that too, right? People are like, oh, you seem a lot taller in your pictures. I'm like, yeah, I know I'm tiny. I think ultimately there's a close connection between myself and people who support, you know, my music, and I think it's that, like, we're friends. And
Right.
I feel like you get to know me through my music, like, for real, like, you know, what you're hearing, even if it's not my story, you can understand how I approach it and whatnot. And that makes me feel all warm and mushy inside. And so when I see people at my shows, it's always love. Like, that's ultimately, you know, what it's all about.
One more question. Did you always know that you'd be doing this? I mean, is this just like, I can't believe this, or is this, yeah, I knew it all along, you know?
I think, okay, so I'll just tell you the story real quick. So I act also, and so I remember when I was in The Color Purple, I did a regional premiere in Colorado, The Color Purple, and I played Celie. Before opening night, the whole cast got together, and I remember the girl who played Sophia, she was the one who like led like our pre-cast like energy thing, you know, to get the energy up and all excited. And I remember she said, everybody close your eyes and think of a place that makes you feel at peace and at home. And I remember when I closed my eyes, what I saw was, it was interesting. It was like I was on this huge stage, and it was myself and just like a pianist, and it was like a grand piano, and it was in a huge auditorium center, something like that, where there were so many people in there that all you could see was just like the flashes of like of their cell phones, like taking pictures. Like, it was like that big. You couldn't actually see somebody's face.
Wow.
And that's where I felt at home, you know? So when I was 15, did I know that I could be a singer? Yeah, I know that I could be, but I didn't know that I necessarily would be.
Wow.
And it feels good that I am. It does.
Good. Wow. So where do you want to go? What's next for SuCh?
What's next for SuCh? Oh, so much, I would say. I think, well, of course, I'm going to be promoting the album. So, you know, I'm going to be hitting the road with all that. And of course, I'm at the Harold Washington Cultural Center this Saturday at 7 with Angela Johnson. It's gonna be a fun show. Trust.
I'll be there. Yay!
Yeah, you'll be there.
Yes,
Yay.
I will.
It's gonna be good. Yeah, so I would say just, you know, promoting. Of course, always writing. I may do a few plays in the next year. But one of my biggest goals is to go to Europe and the UK. I'm I'm shooting for that sometime next year. So,
Oh, good. Oh, that's an immediate goal. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But were you talking about just in general? Because in general, where do I want to go is...
Both?
Yeah. I would say, like, in general, I think that my music is meant to reach a lot of people. And so, as many people as it can reach, that's where I want to go. So,
Well, yeah, you saw that vision of you on the stage.
I
You were
know,
like,
I did.
all
And
these
it was
people.
so, and I remember just being like, what? And it felt at home, and I felt peaceful. That's what was really like, because you'd think that in a situation like that, you'd be super nervous and freaking out. But I remember how I felt, and I just felt like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Speaking of freaking out, because you're so calm, you seem so content. What makes you freak out?
Oh my
Related
gosh.
to the business.
Performing. What?
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if I'm singing for one person, 3 people. If you had me sing right now, I'd be nervous, like for real. Like I always get nervous. Before a show, I have to pee like 30 times. I'm not kidding. Like, yeah, performing makes me super nervous. But it's this cool, nervous energy that I use towards fueling.
Same way.
Yeah, the energy towards my performance. But it's definitely there. Yeah.
That is so funny. We actually covered this. It's this weekend, as a matter of fact, the big Disney parade. So we always cover it on backstage. Ross Lynch was in town. Literally, they said, "Ross, it's time for you to go on stage." He goes, "I gotta go to the bathroom." And he was walking around for like 2 hours, and I'm going, "You waited." You know, I'm thinking mom, because he's a teenager. I'm going, "What have you been doing?" He was backstage just dancing the whole time. And then, you know, now I got to go to the bathroom. So I thought that was just funny that you said that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my goal. Because as an artist, a singer, performer, whatever, you're a human being
Right.
first.
Yeah, always.
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 You don't become inhuman.
Right, you don't just become
a robot.
Yeah, so the same things. I mean, yeah, I super get, oh my gosh, I get so nervous before shows. But if I'm not nervous, that's worrisome.
I think so too.
Because if I'm not nervous, then that means I don't care.
Exactly.
I need to care before I go out.
Your mommy.
Yes.
Explain, or I don't want to say explain, but how does that factor in?
Oh my
Mommy,
gosh, it's
singer.
wonderful. I'm so happy that I'm a mother, and I'm so happy
Good.
that
I like that.
I decided to go. Well, I mean, he's a huge reason why I even decided to go on this journey and to become a singer. But I think that it keeps me grounded, because I think it's really easy to get caught up in things that may be important to the business but isn't necessarily important in real life. And so it's easy to be like all frenzied, and then, you know, he says something silly and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what this is about. You know what I'm saying? Like, he keeps me very grounded and sane, and I need that. Not to mention, he has great taste as far as music goes. He's a drummer, so he totally, I mean, every lyric on that album, every riff I do, every background singer note he knows, every drum break. I
Awesome.
mean, he is, and so, yeah, he'll tell me like, okay, I like this, I don't like that. He's hilarious. So,
Funny.
I love being a parent, and I think it adds a dimension to me as a person and as an artist. So, because I can't separate that from who I am.
Exactly.
You know, it's part of my experience, and so I'm happy.
Do you have mommy moments on stage? I know sometimes I do. I'm talking, and I'll think, oh my God, did she have her key? And I'm in the middle of an interview, and it's like, okay, focus.
I do. Sometimes I do, and I'll think about like, oh, what is he doing right now? Or, oh, he would really like this part of the show. You know, like, because I mean, he's very musically inclined, so I know that there's certain things that he would think would be so much fun. Yeah, I do think about him. I do. All
That's
the time.
good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, I love it. You seem so happy. I can't
Thank
wait
you.
to the show. I'm so excited. And like you said, it's so cool that it's work. Like, oh my God, this is work.
I know. It's
So
like
I
you get to
can't
play.
wait. Yeah.
Like what? For work? This is fantastic.
Isn't that how it's supposed to be?
It is, but it's
If you
not.
work too many hours to not like it.
Exactly.
But that's the way
That's
I
true.
feel. So, tell everybody how we can keep up with you, how we
Oh,
can
yes.
follow you, everything that is
Yeah,
SuCh.
Everything that's me. Okay, so I'm a super social media head. So if you tweet to me, if you follow me, I will respond like for real. So Facebook.com /this is SuCh. My Instagram is at @IamSuch. My Twitter is @SuCh. And my website is iamsuch.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.